Welcome to Blueprint of a Mind. Today I want to explain something that took me years to understand. Why most products fail and why systems don't. This episode is not theory. It is a structural truth I learned the hard way. Building projects that work perfectly on paper, but died because the environment around them was too weak to sustain the architecture they needed. If you're a founder, an investor, or someone fascinated by how complex things survive, this episode is a blueprint. Let's begin. When people start companies, they build products, an app, a feature, a tool, a shiny solution to a very specific pain point. And here is the uncomfortable reality. A product exists only as long as the ecosystem allows it to exist. A system shapes the ecosystem itself. A product needs attention, momentum, marketing, artificial relevance. A system requires only one thing, adoption. Because once a system embedded itself in the world, it stops competing. It becomes the environment. MySpace had features. Facebook built a system of identity. Nokia had devices. Apple built an ecosystem of hardware, software, retail, content, and culture. Uber had a ride-hailing interface, but Uber won because it built payments, safety, maps, driver onboarding, incentive loops, fleet logic. Spotify wasn't a better MP3 player. Spotify became the audio layer of the internet. This is different. Product dies, systems take over. And the earlier in my career I understood that, the less pain I would have gone through. When I built the Japojade, I believed something very naive, that a brilliant product is enough. The idea was real, the problem was massive, the people wanted it, the architecture was strong, but systems don't care about potential. System cares about power, capital power, operational power, legal power, distribution power, timing power. And the Japojade had none of that. It had validation from the transport industry, collaboration with major market players, a real user base, real traction. But it didn't have the oxygen to break through as a system. A good product without a system, it's like a seed thrown on concrete. You can water it all you want. Nothing grows. That lessons changed how I built forever. A few years ago, I watched a Swedish investment group sink millions into a fintech startup. Brilliant idea, beautiful design, strong adoption, rapid growth, and still dead. Why? Because they forgot the architecture. They built an app without building a licensing foundation, a financial operator structure, a fee logic, a compliance system, a long-term margin engine. They grew to hundreds of thousands of users without owning the financial raise underneath. Their entire business sat on fees from banks that raised their margins. The more they grew, the more the money they lost. This is the pattern I've seen everywhere. If you don't build a system, growth kills you faster than failure. Let me say something founders rarely admit, and most investors secretly know. A brilliant idea with too little capital dies faster than a mediocre idea with plenty of capital. Because a mediocre idea with 5 millions can at least build a brand, a team, a presence, a structure, and momentum. But a brilliant, world-changing idea with 100,000 stays in a laptop. I've seen founders burn out because they tried to build continental system with the budget of a local MVP. I've seen investors waiting for traction in models that could only work after hitting scale. If a project needs 5 million to survive, no 100,000 experiment will ever tell you anything useful. System cannot be tested small. System must be launched at the scale they were designed for. Otherwise, you're not testing the system, you're testing the starvation. I don't build products. I build entire environments. When I design something, I never think, how do we make this app? I think, what is the ecosystem around it? Which industries does it connect? What flows of money move through it? Which players benefit? Which players resist? What needs to be free? What needs to be regulated? What happens in year 10? What collapse under scale? Where are the future modes? That's why all my projects are connected. Not as a bundle, but as a system. Doctor Deck, medical diagnostics, audio travel, culture, identity, Estima, data engine, Syncargo, logistic trust layer, DB20 safety and behavior, Lions transfer, mobility spine, Aurora, housing infrastructure. Each product has its own market, but each one strengthens the rest. This isn't a portfolio, it's a multi-layer architecture. If you're an investor listening to this, here is the one line that defines my work. I don't build things you can compare. I build systems you cannot replace. A product competes with other products. A system competes with gravity and usually wins. Every company that changed the world did so because it built an environment. Apple, the hardware, software, service continued. Tesla, chaos, energy, charging, data. Booking, the travel operating system. Airbnb, the trust and reputation machine. Amazon, the logistics universe. System redefine industries. Products just try to survive in them. People ask me, how do you come up with all these ideas? But they're not ideas, they are architecture. And this is why systems win and products die. Because systems don't depend on attention. Systems don't ask the market for permission. Systems don't collapse when the world shifts. Systems shape the world. Thank you for listening. See you in episode 6. This is Blueprint of a Mind, engineered by Archestral Studio.